Good evening. Welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, March. Like it was so hard to say March the 4th, 2019. We're the Bitter Knitters. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
I just got breaking news just before this show started. The reason Ryan is not here is because Momo got him. So, what a ridiculous thing, this Momo. I literally got, my daughter is in high school and she got sent home a letter to warn the parents about Momo.
I mean, you should probably just teach kids to not be fucking dumb.
Right?
Like, who the fuck falls for that stupid shit?
Like, only like mentally disabled or mentally ill people, I think. Because there's no, like, normal people wouldn't fall for, like, the same with Slender Man and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, even that there has to be some warning sent out. Like, for what? Like, if your kid is stupid enough to fucking see something come across the screen and that thing goes, "Hey, kill yourself," and your kid does, well, your kid wasn't really meant for this fucking world, was it?
It's like, remember the blue whale?
Yeah.
Yeah, like all these stupid things are so dumb.
But I told my kid to jump off a building. Well, did it? Yeah, well, that's a failing on your behalf.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have let your kid be on the internet if it was that susceptible to, you know, like for all the time Ryan tells people to kill themselves, he probably is a mass murderer.
Yeah, seriously. Fucking ridiculous.
And the Momo is so ridiculous looking too.
Yeah.
But I was saying, I think it was your sister who posted a picture of Momo or something. I'm like, it looks like Kim Kardashian when you suck out all the fillers. Like, just ridiculous.
Just remind me of exactly.
It's not real. Momo's not real. Slender Man's not real. Blue Whale's not real.
But no, that thing reminded me exactly what it was supposed to, like a knockoff of the bitch from The Ring. You know
yeah, is that what supposed to be, Samara?
Kind of.
I guess.
I read all about it.
The Grudge looking sort of thing, yeah.
Like, I read about it fucking a couple years ago.
I remember when it came out a while ago. That's why when it started up again, I'm like, Momo's back?
Well, because this thing is completely different than what it was, right? Like, it was never meant to be whatever the fuck is happening right now.
Like in Minecraft, trying to tell little kids to kill themselves because somebody robbed their stash or whatever. Like, Jesus.
That's just some fucking bored internet assholes. It's probably 4chan.
Yeah. 4chan.
It's probably the dickheads on 4chan.
Or an incel trying to kill a future. What are they? Chads and Megan?
Chads and Stacy's.
That's it. I couldn't remember the other name.
Fucking losers.
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing. But like with the internet, like, I mean, when we were kids, we had urban legends. Like everybody knew urban legends, right? And there was like, you know, there's even the one, we have it here too, about the train tracks. And if you park on the train tracks and turn off the engine, the children will push you off the train tracks. And see their little handprints. I know that's one for Down East. It's up here. I've seen it on numerous ones about, oh, that happens in Pennsylvania and that happened in Kentucky. I saw it on Unsolved Mysteries back when I was a little kid. So, you know, but with the internet, these things go viral in a matter of hours.
Yeah, and then you know, some asshole can throw a fucking quick video together, or you know, whatever it might be, and you know, just go for shock value. But
yeah,
it's dumb. If you believe that stuff, I mean, maybe you should just, you know, kind of kill yourself.
We don't encourage children listening. I mean, if you're an adult and you're falling for this shit, I'm sorry.
If you're a kid that's listening, I mean,
you're on the wrong show.
Like, you've already fucked up.
You're on the wrong show. But then the other viral sensation that happened this weekend that has people outraged is the cheese challenge. So this resulted in a man who threw a piece of sliced cheese, processed American cheese, onto his toddler's face, and it stuck there for a second, right? So the kid was like in shock. So people are very upset because like you're causing permanent scarring and harm to your baby.
Yeah, no.
Look, I agree with some things. Like, I don't like some things. I don't like when you, I can't even remember some of the ones that I thought weren't right. But this one, no.
That's funny. That's fucking funny. Fuck out of here. It was a piece of fucking cheese. It was government cheese. Like, get over it.
You know what babies do to you? You know what my baby did when she was a toddler? Literally at least once a week, no matter how often I freaking tried to keep her from doing it, she'd get her shit out of her diaper and rub it all in her hair, all over her face, up and down her arms, all over her crib, all over the walls. So you know what? If I could have thrown a piece of cheese in my baby's face for some payback, that would have been well worth it.
I mean, like, I can't speak to shit when I was a baby. I don't fucking know, but I mean, my dad trolled me my entire life. Like, fuck out of here. Like, that's... Quit your bitching. Like, quit your fucking bitching. That was nothing. It was funny. It was fucking
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and then apparently the guy who originated it was shocked when it, like, 50 million people retweeted
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and he took it down because he thought, oh, I don't want to do this to my family. Oh God, buddy, you should have monetized it somehow and got rich.
I get that though. Like I can understand that sentiment because it's true. Like your family's gonna have to answer for a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
It's just the world we fucking live in now, right?
Yeah,
like,
and you'll have people out there saying that CAS should be called on him and all that.
I'm sure
stuff,
people
right?
have definitely called fucking whatever Child Protective Services or wherever this video is taken, because I'm still not 100% on where this originated from.
I want to say it was the UK. I could be wrong, but I think it was the UK.
It looked like fucking processed American cheese. So
yeah, that's true. So it could be America or Canada.
Right? Like it looked like that government cheese. So I don't know where it came from. It was funny. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, and I mean, they tell, like, there's certain things I can't even remember the ones we talked about on the show. Ones that I thought were like kind of mean and I thought a little cruel. Like some of the punishment ones. Like I don't have a problem with you making your kid walk, but I don't like when you put them on the internet and mock them. Right? That kid's old enough to understand what's happening. This little toddler doesn't know he got a piece of cheese in his face.
It's just cheese. Like it's literally just cheese. Right? Like fuck, man. Like again, I don't want to go off. I don't want to call anybody out, but I mean, like, way worse shit happened to me by fucking people that were supposed to be looking after me, and I'm here. I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, get over it. Kid got a piece of cheese thrown at him. Like, go fucking.
Well, you know what could happen? Now, this is an older story. This is from like about a month ago, but we never got to talk about it. So I really want to get your opinion on it because I know you're going to have some conversation to say about this. So it kind of goes hand in hand with this because this could be cheese baby in 25 years. We're talking about the man from India who is suing his parents for giving birth to him without his consent.
Fucking A. I get this. I fucking get
this previously.
Yeah, I did not ask to be born. You fucking force life onto me. You force all the hardships and the depression and the anxiety.
So why don't you just mumble yourself if life is so bad?
Well, I mean, maybe I want to. Maybe I just don't have the balls to do it yet.
Well, don't do that because I do love you, nephew.
Yeah, don't call me out because then I have to. Like, fuck.
No, but I'm just saying,
Jesus
for
Christ.
any of these people that are complaining about being born, there is a viable solution.
Oh, there's absolutely an option, but I mean, again, though, I do kind of agree with that. Like, especially in the sense of the story we were talking about. When I first kind of said this bunch of bullshit, like. He didn't ask to be born. So saying like at 18 years, you have to get out and you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, no, fuck you. Like, I didn't ask for this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you were the ones that decided that, hey, we want to be parents, but like only for 18 years and then go fuck yourself.
Well, and they obviously raised him to some degree to be maybe I know that personality comes into it too, but I mean, we're talking about that 18-year-old who didn't want to move out his, or what is he, 25? Didn't want to move out his parents' house.
Like that, yeah.
And, like you raised your kid to have zero work ethic or responsibility or ambition. So.
I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. I understand the argument, but that's only coming from like the asshole side of me. Obviously, I don't think your parents should have to fucking care for you until you're fucking dead. You know what I mean? But
here's the thing, though.
You didn't get my consent, so fuck you.
Most parents do. Like, I get it. Yeah, at some point you're an adult, you move it on your own. But like most parents, if they're ever, able to, if you need to borrow money, they'll lend you money. If you need a babysitter, they'll babysit for you. If you just need someone to talk to, your parents will listen to you. You know what I mean? Like most parents, they don't just, cut the strings and let you fly out of the nest at, 18 and say, fuck off, don't talk to me again. I said most. I didn't say all.
Hasn't been my fucking experience, but
like your parents wouldn't be there for you if you needed them.
Yeah. We'll see.
But
20 hours. But I get it. I think this is stupid, but you're gonna get a lot of this shit. I mean, consent is obviously a big thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And for everything, for fucking everything. Like, consent is a really large thing. But with it becoming more and more of a conversation and more people putting, not necessarily limitations, but, like, kind of spelling out, like, things you need to consent for. You're going to get people that are doing this. They're just going to push the envelope a little bit to see how far and what they can get away with.
Now, do you think that this is even going to go anywhere?
Oh, fuck no.
I
Yeah.
would just be like, if I was the parent and this actually like went to a trial, I'd be like, I spoke to God, and God let me talk to my baby soul, and my baby soul was like, I choose you, parents, and you gave consent. Like, I could be a crazy religious freak and hear voices. So
That's a fucking valid argument in certain fucking places. So
yeah, in India, come on,
that's a valid fucking argument.
yeah, the
Is that
deep
where
south.
this is happening?
No, it's in India. Yeah, in India.
Oh, this should be interesting then.
Yeah. Now his parents at this point are kind of like laughing. They think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I must admire my son's temerity to want to take his parents to court, knowing both of us are lawyers.
Ooh, that's fucking ballsy.
And if
Good on you.
Raphael could come up with a rational explanation as to how we could have sought his consent to be born, I will accept my fault. That's his mother.
That's interesting. That got a little spicy there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll see more if anything comes of it publicly. But I just
more and more stories like this are going to pop up. More and more, like, again, ludicrous fucking stories are going to be coming out of the woodwork. Because again, like we're in a new kind of age right now. Like people are we're testing new waters, you know. And as weird as it is, that consent is a new fucking place for us to kind of get our feet wet or whatever. But like it's true. Like
he's made posters that say things like, "Isn't forcing a child into this world and forcing it to have a career kidnapping and slavery?" Another one says, "Your parents had you instead of a toy or a dog. You owe them nothing. You are their entertainment."
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, throw a piece of cheese on your kid's face, you're entertained.
I mean, I get it. I can understand where these arguments come from. Because again, like I mean, I feel like I can make a fairly convincing argument for that shit myself. Just on the basis of being a fucking asshole about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, this guy's definitely a troll.
Oh yeah, he's being a dick. Like this is literally just him being a fucking dick. And that's why I think I appreciate it so much, because I would do something like this.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I like it. Yeah, I kind of hope. I'm interested to see what the courts rule. Like, I really am.
It will be. Because I mean, what are they gonna do? Will they like literally just throw him out before he can even get before a judge? Like,
well, and then like, so best case scenario. So what happens in this guy's best case scenario? That okay, you're right. Your parents didn't consent with you for you to be born. So what? Do you get shoved back up your mom's vagina? Do you know what I mean? Like,
what happens to him?
Like, exactly. What
is he suing for money?
Yeah. What's the end? What happens?
Yeah.
Like, or is that it? Or is he just looking for a free ride? Like more so than he's already got.
He says, I was a normal kid. One day I was very frustrated and didn't want to go to school, but my parents kept asking me to go. So I asked them, why did you have me? And my dad had no answer. I think if he'd been able to answer, maybe I wouldn't have thought this way. Maybe you're an asshole and your dad's like, you're right. Why did I have you?
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I do see some validity to this argument. Like, I really do. Because
I understand the rationale behind it, because you're right. There's no way you can consent to a sperm and an egg,
right?
You know, a zygote, anything. Do you want to become and then you go into the whole point of, when does a baby become a person? At birth, you know, in utero, does a soul come down and enter your body? You know, like, there's going to be a lot of murky water there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, though, like, let's face it. Like, when you have a kid, you are condemning that kid to 60 to 70 years of complete bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, to complete and utter fucking bullshit. Your life will never be what you want it to be. Fucking people are dickheads. You know, like, so I understand where these arguments come from. Like, I get it. I didn't fucking ask for this shit. Like, I didn't ask to fucking, you know, like, not saying that I do, but like, people that like struggle paycheck to paycheck. You didn't fucking ask for that, but your parents just thrust that upon you.
Yeah.
So like, I do get it from that perspective. Like, I really, truly, honestly do. And I can't say, like, I can't deny that I don't share some of those fucking feelings. Like, I didn't fucking ask for this shit.
Oh my God. If my mom ever wins the lottery, I'm going to sue her for having a depressing childhood.
I think there's a valid argument there. Personally, I do. And I'm not one for the suing and all that kind of shit, but I do honestly see a valid argument.
Yeah. My kids would definitely sue me for being a crazy banshee mom.
I'd try to get my fucking slice of the pie if my parents did that shit. Like, I'm not even fucking with you. Like, I wouldn't even care. I'm fucking nearly 32 years old, and I'm still like, you know, I had a shit childhood. I want millions.
Yeah.
I asked for this, millions.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I think if this guy gets any success in it, like any at all,
Yep.
you're going to see a lot more.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, this happened in the 90s. I remember being young when I first started hearing about this, but kids like emancipating themselves from their parents.
Yeah.
And then that kind of turned into a trend. And I think that's kind of where I developed these like real kind of cynical kind of views of this kind of shit. Because I thought this for a long time, even before like consent became like the fucking word of the month. You know what I mean? Like I've always kind of thought like, I didn't agree to this shit. Like this is fucked up. Like you can't force this onto a person. But we just kind of allow it to happen because I mean, well, that's fucking life. Like there's no other way around it.
You have a baby and then you got to take care of it. And unfortunately, if you know the kid doesn't like the rules or the parents, that's just there's only a couple of options. You get emancipated or you run away and
or you go the extreme route,
kill your parents
or yourself. But
see, I didn't even think about killing myself.
See, I always think suicide before I go murder. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd feel much better killing myself than someone else. Like,
I don't know. Some of those people that just do stupid shit while you're driving, like just okay. So, you know what? Actually, you got me thinking about how like the world's a really fucked up place. So, I was on Reddit today looking at the news, just to see if I could find any interesting articles to talk about. Jesus Christ, they're depressing. I see grandma killed kid, mom killed kid, kids killed dad, dad and mom killed. You know. Dad and stepdaughter killed wife and blamed it on homeless people. Like, geez, Louise. I mean, you say it all the time. Humans are scumbags and dirtbags. But geez. And I mean, I know it's always happened. I know this is not new. But because we can see it, you know, compiled in a list of articles, it's just so depressing and horrific.
It's par for the course, though. It's the time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are getting over their winter depression, and a lot of people get over their depression with fucking sheer rage.
Yeah.
And it's weird, but you do like this time of year, you'll see a spike in like family violent crimes. It's it's odd, but it's like an actual quantifiable thing. Like you can measure this.
I remember, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if you lived in the building at the time, but the building you guys lived in before you moved down east the first time.
Okay.
A lady stabbed her husband because he said Peg Bundy was more attractive than Kelly Bundy, or vice versa. Kelly Bundy was more attractive than Peg Bundy. She stabbed him to death.
Amazing.
You know,
yeah, it's again like it's kind of fucking weird, but violence among family members is. There was a stabbing a couple of years back when it was at a family barbecue, and one person was a flat earther, and they tried to convince their family that the Earth was flat, and they called him an idiot, so he fucking stabbed his father. I don't know if the guy died or not, but like I remember like
he is an idiot, and now he's in jail.
Yeah.
Or he could be on death row, depending on where he did it.
Speaking of flat earthers, did you watch that fucking Netflix documentary they have on there about the flat earthers?
Is there a flat earther doc?
Oh my god, it's so good.
Is it like to make fun of them, or is it like to support
no. They put it out thinking like this fucking. Oh my god.
Oh, like it was gonna bring legions of believers to them.
So good.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great. I can't
remember. Sometimes I have a hard
time
watching things. Like I've always wanted to watch Jesus Camp.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, and I just feel like every time I see just the preview image of that little girl praying with the writing on her shirt and face, I can't do it.
No, it was a hard one to watch, and I got fucking so raged out watching it. Like normally I can make the disconnect. You know what I mean? Like as much as I might disagree with what you're saying, I can still disconnect myself from you and your beliefs. But that one fucking did it?
Yeah, that's why that one's always on my list, but I've never watched it yet.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
But I mean, I try. Look, I watched that one you recommended to me about the conservation hunting in Africa. And, you know, I didn't agree with it all, but I saw it.
Was interesting. It was, like, again, I wasn't trying to fucking convince anybody. I just found it very interesting, especially boots on the ground and with real numbers. You know what I mean? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
This one was just, it was just so.
Oh, my God.
Cringe. The cringe is so strong. And it's so, like, now I'm one of those people that suffers really hard from, like, secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
So like if I see someone do something embarrassment, I just fucking cringe and I gotta change the channel.
What? I stopped watching Brokeback Mountain because the part where they come out of the tent and they're kind of frolicking and somebody's up on the ridge watching them.
Yeah.
I was terrified for them and I stopped watching it and I never turned it on again.
Yeah.
And I was like horrified for them and so I get exactly what you're saying. That was a fictional movie.
Yeah, right.
That happened to me.
Right? So like I figured with this flat earther one, like I feel like I was thinking to myself, oh, you know, you're not going to make it through this. You're going to get secondhand embarrassed. You're just going to flick it off. But it was just so cringeworthy. I couldn't fucking take my eyes off it.
God.
It was great. It was fucking great.
I'll have to watch it. Did you watch, by chance, did you watch the R. Kelly or the first part of the Michael Jackson ones?
No, I seen the Michael Jackson one that was on last night, but there was a really good hockey game on. So
you know, I did watch the Michael Jackson one.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not shocked by anything that happened. I think it's really important to talk about how pedophiles groom children and their families.
Yup.
Especially with somebody who's that rich.
Yup.
But what really shocked me was, like, when you hear about kids getting molested, you hear about rape victims, you don't hear the language that these guys were using. Like, they talked about, like, he's like, you know, I was 7 years old and he was making me perform oral sex. And, you know, you got to remember that's like a man's penis in a child's mouth. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard to listen to.
Oh, no doubt. Like, I didn't watch any of it, but excuse me. Ugh. I heard some of the backlash today from it, and apparently the Jacksons are trying to get it like scrubbed, completely, because of course, I mean that's embarrassing,
that's their cash cow,
right? And I mean his image has always been kind of tarnished since the early '90s because of this stuff, because of the accusations, and now having, and again, you know, when you see somebody talking, it becomes personal. Or personable, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want people to see the emotion and the fear and the pain behind these people's eyes, because now it's that much harder to deny it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's
when it's a random person with no image or face, and just like, oh, you know, he was a 12-year-old boy at the time. You don't think of anything like that. You're just like, oh, they're a liar. I don't care about them. Michael Jackson's the best, right?
There it is. And that's the whole fucking problem. But the second
now
you
we've
put
got
a face
to the victim and the words. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I've read a few things about it this morning, and apparently it was a hard one for a lot of people to swallow, because like you said, nobody wants to think of him in that light. But I mean, the evidence just keeps kind of mounting and mounting.
Yeah,
and mounting.
I always believed it to be true. Honestly, even back then, even when he was, you know, because in my opinion, I'm always kind of the person was like, especially those kind of accusations. When you make a settlement, you don't want it to come out. You don't want the details to come out.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes that's not always the case, especially when you're famous and you're rich. But I think when you're being accused of child molestation.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, he was found not guilty in the one that went public. But I don't know. I always felt he was guilty, and I know that he was childlike and stuff like that, but he claimed he was married to, he was married to a woman. Lisa Marie Presley claimed he had sex with her. Yeah. Why are you hanging out with little boys all the time and having sleepovers? That's not right.
No, it's fucking weird. Like it's weird. Like,
you know, when you were a kid, did you ever come in and sleep in my husband's bed?
Fuck no.
No, because that's fucking weird. That's I would have been like, hit the fucking curb, buddy.
Yeah, that's weird as shit.
Yes.
And no, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like, I do have a feeling that I've kind of always felt like this with the Michael Jackson stuff, that the truth will eventually come to light. Yeah. I mean, he's been dead, what, 6 years?
Longer, I think. Maybe
really?
8.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like 8 or 9, maybe. 2009, I think he died.
Wow. I didn't think it was that long ago.
I could be wrong. Yeah, but a long time.
Because I honestly, I was always under the impression that, like, once he kind of died, that Macaulay Culkin would come and confirm some stuff.
He's never spoken. He's always said nothing happened to me.
Right? And I mean, I want to believe the dude. I really do, but I can't. I can't bring myself.
One of his accusers / victims, you know, I want to believe this guy. Yeah. He was saying that, you know, because he'd been in videos, he'd been in all these commercials and lots of photo shoots, and they showed up on the set of the black and white video, and he'd come from Australia, and he was thinking, you know, he was supposed to be the dancing boy.
Yeah.
And him and his mother were like really shocked and hurt when they saw Macaulay Culkin there, and how literally Michael Jackson treated Macaulay Culkin the way this boy had been treated, exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that too, like.
And like, we know Macaulay Culkin was one of those kids that emancipated himself at a young age.
Right.
His parents exploited the shit out of him.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and that's it too. Like, you know, I've heard the stories. Like, I've heard the Macaulay Culkin stuff. Like, you know, because they were both child stars and they were just thrust into it, like, you know, against their will and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, that there was a connection there. I can kind of understand and I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But it's it's still
Well,
fucking
yeah, like he'd
sketchy.
be like, you know what, I get what it's like. I'm gonna, you know, if you need a big brother to talk to or stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it went beyond being like a role model or a father
Yeah,
figure or anything like that. It went weird.
like it felt like there was something there, but
And just never seemed natural. Like, you know, I remember being horrified when he was on, whether it was MTV or Grammys, and he made out with Lisa Marie Presley on stage. That
mhm.
was gross. It just felt so unnatural.
Exactly, it was put on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'd love for her to write a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not only does she have the Jackson dirt, she's got the Scientology dirt.
Oh, she's a Scientologist?
She's never publicly came out and said she's left, but all the blind items are saying that she's not with them anymore, and she's being like really quiet because she doesn't want to be an SP and have all the, you know, what Scientology does to people.
Yeah.
So she stayed quiet, but she's left. Priscilla got her into it years ago.
Huh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Can't say I really give too fucks about her, or you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I never really knew that.
She's got the dirt, man. She's had a life. I'd love to read a real tell-all, not one of these, you know, stupid ones where people just like, and I did this and I did that. I want the dirt.
It does seem that way, right? It feels like when a lot of people do these tell-alls, like it's more bragging than fucking anything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of upsetting because it's exactly that. Like, I don't want to hear you brag about fucking doing blow with fucking Drew Barrymore when you were fucking 6. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the shit I'm about. Like, I want to know the real skeevy shit. Because it's true, you know, how many people could actually blow up Hollywood?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and look at how well it went with Weinstein. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I mean, I can't really say well, because I mean, you know,
no, but I mean, it changed
someone for fucking like sexual assault and shit. But it's changed the game. You know,
that Brian article that just came out last month. You know, now it has never. It's not going to have the, you know, the domino effect that Me Too and Weinstein had.
Well, yeah, because the impact that fucking the fall of Harvey Weinstein had has actually been really nice. It's been great. You know what I mean? People are finally getting their cards pulled, which is fucking awesome.
Yes, and if you're a creeper, like, no offense, you should be facing that. And we talked about Ed Westwick. I love him. He's on Gossip Girl. Mm-hmm. I loved him. I was very upset when he was accused of these sexual assaults. He was not charged. Yeah. All case against him was dismissed, but I still feel kind of squicky when I watch Gossip Girl, and I'm like, I love Chuck Bass.
See,
you know,
I get it, and like I've said, you know, many times, I am a fan of the rule of law. You know what I mean? Like, it is kind of a big thing for me. So at some point, for me, it is like, well, if you know, if the glove don't fit, then I'm not gonna fucking
quit. Yeah, he's got no criminal charges, so I have to believe in the police. But.
Right. But yeah, no, there is still some feelings of like.
I don't know if I'd want my daughter to go to his hotel room alone with him, is what I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, if he can further my career, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like, it's all good, man. Like, it's all gravy.
I mean, I'd take the chance myself.
Yeah,
but...
like, I got you. Like, it's all good.
But, and the R. Kelly one is really horrifying too, because this is little girls we're talking about too, and everybody knew about it. The same as Michael Jackson. We're talking about little girls since what, 1994? He married Aaliyah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was married to Aaliyah when she was like 14 years old. Yeah. Her parents signed off on it. So like,
no,
I thought they did.
He got her a forged document. That was in the documentary.
Ah.
He claims he didn't know that she was. He met her when she was 14. He married her when she was 15. He claimed he didn't know, but he got her the. How's a 14-year-old girl going to get a document like that?
Fair enough.
He knew. He absolutely knew.
How could you not?
That's and now all these new videos, Avenatti, that Michael Avenatti got 2 different videos of him, like, you know, doing, I don't even want to say what he did, horrific things to a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah. That's fucked. It's so fucked. And he walking free right now? Didn't he pay post bail?
He's on bail right now, but at least something's happening. And his tour overseas got canceled. So he's already in monetary issue, from what I've been hearing, because people have been, you know, not wanting to see him perform. They're not buying his records, not playing his records. So he's hurting financially. He couldn't even post bail.
Huh.
Another person posted his bond for him.
Which, I mean,
he couldn't even get $100,000 because his bond was $1 million. He couldn't even get $100,000.
Huh. That's fucked.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, there's really like, excuse me. There's nothing that anyone can do
Yeah.
Except for us to just keep talking.
And
You know what I
shining
mean?
these lights. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Like all these women who've been, and the family members, especially of the R. Kelly
Yeah.
victims, have been so vocal.
Yeah.
Which I mean, got to give them credit. They didn't
Yeah.
give up. They kept going. They kept speaking out, even though they were being threatened by him and stuff.
No, absolutely. And it sucks. It sucks that, you know, it's going to take people like that. It's going to take people with, you know, willpower that I know I don't fucking possess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, I just hope for the most part that when they are out there and they are telling their story and they're trying to have justice done, that, you know, they're not ostracized from society.
Yeah. And this Michael Jackson one is really kind of weird because one of the victims, he in some ways, the way he talks about it, at the time he saw it as a love story. And I think he still does.
Yeah.
Like they had rings and they performed a little marriage ceremony between the two of them. And I think that's why a lot of people don't give credence to his story. Yeah. But, you know, like obviously he's a victim of psychological abuse and he thinks that they were in love.
I mean, I know you don't like the dude, but Milo Yiannopoulos, you know, he got some hot water, you know, last year for saying something kind of along these lines.
Yeah.
Where it is a gay man trope. Now, I'm not saying this is fucking the story of every gay man. Don't people get on my ass over this.
Yeah.
But there is this thing within gay men where it's okay to be the young guy with the older guy because that guy's like teaching you how to be gay. And that's kind of what Milo was saying when, you know, he said, oh, if I wasn't molested by my priest, I wouldn't be so good at giving blowjobs. You know what I mean? Just trying to be funny about it.
Yeah.
But and I could see that with this guy you're talking about with Michael Jackson, right? Where this guy probably did have fucking, you know, romantic feelings towards this guy. It doesn't feel like he was fucking
and that's
wrong.
why I think he worked with Michael afterwards because he didn't at the time. I mean, obviously now he knows it's wrong. He's talking about it. At the time, he didn't see it as being wrong. He just thought it was, I mean, I haven't seen the second part yet, but I'm going to assume that he thinks it came to the end of a relationship. Relationships end and you move on. And I think that's what he thought happened.
Right? And it's just tragic though, because we can't call that scenario out because a second, like I even feel dirty fucking saying what I just said.
Yeah,
fucking arrogant.
Because it's still a man taking advantage. I mean, we're not even talking about a 14-year-old boy or a 15-year-old boy. We're talking about boys that were under 12.
Yeah, right.
You know?
So, you know, I feel dirty saying it. I feel dirty bringing it up, and I feel dirty fucking just making that comparison.
But it is the thought that some guys have. You're right.
Mm-hmm. And it's tragic.
Look, we've talked about it many times. There's girls that are 14 and 15 that want to get with men in their 20s.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not that it's right.
No.
But it does exist.
Yeah. And I think that has to come into, you know, the conversation. Like that conversation, as hard and as slimy and as it is, I think that's a big one that has to start being discussed. Is the actual emotional connections between the victims and the fucking perpetrators.
Yeah. And that's what they're so good at. This is what you always hear about pedophiles. And, you know, and not just men on boys. We're talking about like female teachers on younger students too. This is what they're so good at. They know which kids are going to be like, you know, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah.
And which kids can be groomed. That's why it's called grooming, you know? They're so good.
There's another great documentary on Netflix. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but it was pretty much about that. About a guy fucking like grooming this girl and fucking kidnapped her a few times.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Oh God, I watched that one.
It was amazing. It was so fucking
kidnapped
good.
in plain sight or something like that.
Yeah, so
abducted in plain sight.
Yeah, and that one kind of opened my eyes a little bit more to that kind of thought. Like that, well, at least the thought that I'm trying to express currently. That where like this girl, she was fucking 13 having consensual sex with a 40-year-old man because she thought she was in love.
Yeah.
You know,
and the parents, every misstep the parents took, and they didn't, I don't know if they are lying to themselves or if it was the 70s and it wasn't really like, I don't know. I just cannot imagine that I would let my daughter go on a vacation alone with a grown man.
Like when the mom, I can't remember if it was the mom or the dad, they're like, oh, well, we didn't even know pedophilia was a thing. We didn't even know that existed. Bullshit.
No, everybody knew they were child diddlers.
Do you know what I mean? Bullshit. Like, I'm not fucking buying that for a second.
Yeah. You know, maybe they didn't understand that it could be somebody you knew that closely. That I could see. If they'd said something like that, like we thought stranger danger. If they'd said something like that, I'd been like, okay, I get it. Because growing up, we were never told, watch out for your neighbors, watch out for your uncles, watch out for your You know what I mean? It was always stranger danger. That's how I grew up in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So I could kind of see that point. But yeah, like just like how he said he had a mental illness, and the only thing that would make it go away is if he slept in the same bed with her, and they let that happen.
Well, not only did they let it happen, because he had a fucking note from an actual psychologist.
I forgot about the note.
A fucking doctor said, no, it's cool. Let this guy sleep with your fucking child daughter. Like, that whole thing was fucked. Like, that was one of the most fucked up things I've ever watched. And I watched it solely because there was a fucking meme going around that I didn't understand.
Yeah, and she's missing for like a week, and her parents haven't called the police yet.
Right. Oh, fuck.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
No, it's true.
Yeah, look for that one. That one was insane. And I mean, you know, my kids always say that I was a helicopter parent and I did like crazy shit. And Marley said she was afraid to walk out in the world for like when she was, 14, 15. Yeah. But you know what? My kids didn't get abducted. And as far as I know, they didn't get molested.
Yeah.
And I told them things like, you know what? Like, you have to be careful. I'm like, Daddy shouldn't be touching your private parts.
Yeah.
I even told them to warn them about their own father. I shouldn't be touching your private parts unless there's a reason, like we're going to the doctor and the doctor needs to look at it. That's the only time that you're showing your private parts to people. Stuff like that. Like, I taught them that. I taught them like, oh, if your uncle shows up at school for you and I haven't told you that person's coming, you don't go with them unless they have the password. Like, everybody. I'm like, your grandpas, your papas, like everybody. I warned them about every fucking person. And I'm sorry if I made the world scary, but I tried to make them safe.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, just look at what happened to that fucking poor unfortunate girl here. You know what I mean? A few weeks back. That was her dad. That was her fucking dad. You know what I mean? The poor girl in Brampton, the Amber Alert stuff.
Oh, yes, the one that got murdered by her father on her birthday. Yeah,
it's fucking tragic as hell. Yeah. So, I mean, it's smarter, but no, that documentary blew my fucking mind. Like, I mean, again, like, I don't really hold too much hope in people. Like, I believe most people can be naive. I never thought there was people that fucking naive out there. Like, you're a fucking parent.
That's why when I see some of these people, like even like the Michael Jackson, victim parents talking, and I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's like when you get into a situation, and I mean, I can't speak for men, but I know a lot of women were kind of like told, like, especially older generation, like people my generation and older, we're kind of told like, oh, don't be a bitch, don't be a shrew, don't question authority in a lot of cases. So, maybe they were just super naive, or they were just too afraid to look at the truth. Like, maybe the truth was just so horrifying that they literally blocked it out of their minds. I don't know.
I can kind of understand that. Like, the world sucks. It's a scary place. You know what I mean? But like, you're a parent. You're the warden of a small human being. You don't have the luxury of looking away anymore. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
I agree with you 100%. Like I said, I was fucking a paranoid person.
Like, I have the luxury of looking away because I'm not responsible for anybody but my fucking self, right? But like, the second you decide to bring a kid in this world, guess what? You don't have that luxury anymore. You just don't.
My kids were little. I talked to them about not even just about like stranger danger. I was crazy paranoid because my only job is to raise my kids until they're adults and keep them alive. Right? That's my only job. And so I did everything I could. If they're going to a friend's house, I'd be like, you know what, if you see a gun. And I mean, I know most people don't have guns in Toronto, but you never know. And I'm like, if you're going to a friend's house and you see a gun, you run away. Yeah. Run away and tell a parent, tell an adult, because that's not right. Because how many kids get shot by guns accidentally all the time?
Yeah, that's fair.
I was scared of everything. And when my kids would come home, I'd be like, oh, did they have any older brothers? Did they have any older, sisters? Were they nice to you? Did they say anything weird to you? Like, everything. I was questioning always.
Yeah. I don't remember getting talks like that.
But it's the same. My parents never asked me that stuff either.
I mean, like, now, apparently somebody that you guys knew when you guys were young, or at least my father did, if I'm remembering this correctly, unfortunately was abducted and murdered. So they used that example a lot to me, that like, oh, it can happen to boys, it can happen to boys. So it's not like,
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I can't think of who. And I'm pretty sure it was one of my dad's friends. I remember him going off about a guy that was a BMX rider. He was really, really fucking good. And he ended up getting fucking abducted and fucking murdered.
I don't remember that. Maybe that was I don't remember if he grew up with us or maybe he went to your dad's high school. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, again, I don't really remember too much about it. This would have been said to me when I was,
No,
young.
I know. I wonder if he's talking about the kid. My friend's brother was out west and he was coming home on the bus and he called his mom from up north, like North Bay or someplace like that, and said, I'll be home tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they didn't hear from him. They found his body, like, God, when Marley was little, like 2 or 3. Found his body finally up in a field up north.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even determine how he died.
No. That's one of the fucking scariest parts about Northern Canada. And I've expressed this since the first time I went up there. You ain't gonna be found if they don't want you found. Like, seriously. And even if they want you found, it's still a fucking needle in a haystack scenario.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. But yeah, no, I remember that one being a lesson to me. You know what I mean? 'Cause I remember thinking, like, well, I'm a boy. What the fuck do I have to worry about? Like, you know what I mean? Someone wants to touch a boy. And then, they use that example. It's like, oh, so.
Well, there was a few famous cases that happened when I was a little girl. And it was always girls. It was Sharon Morningstar Keating, Alison Perot. I can't remember her name. When I was little, a little girl went missing in Cabbagetown. And I remembered those stories, and they were scary. I know Sharon Morningstar was my age when she went missing and was murdered. And, they were scary.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I still wandered the streets. I mean, my parents were not home. We wandered the streets from sunup to sundown, like, and later.
My parents were home. I just chose not to be there.
Yeah. Well, you just think, your kid's out playing, getting fresh air. He's not in front of the TV. What's wrong with that, right?
No, it was mostly because I was a dickhead and I didn't want to get punished for being a dickhead. So I just wouldn't show up when Dad was home.
Yeah.
But no, it's fucked up. Like this whole R. Kelly thing. It's all screwed up. I don't get it. I mean.
And I've never been an R. Kelly fan, so it didn't affect my musical, like who I'm, taking out of my playlist.
So we're kind of like, the people that are not outraged, but the people that are not accepting this, like we're pretty much going off the preface that for the last 20 to 30 years, R. Kelly has been engaging in illicit fucking acts with children, right? Like that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah. You cannot fucking tell me that people around him did not know.
Oh, they all knew.
So when do we start holding the accomplices accountable?
That's what the movie is saying too. The documentary kind of says that, like all these people that facilitate this and just turn a blind eye are just as guilty.
If I knew someone that murdered somebody and I withheld that fucking information, I go to jail for accessory to murder, rightfully so. But it seems though like it doesn't have the same seriousness with these types of cases, which is kind of odd to me.
Yeah.
Especially with how everybody feels about pedophiles, the harming of children and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and we should be accountable. If I know someone is hurting somebody, whether it's a physical abuse, a mental abuse, a sexual abuse, like I should be speaking up.
It's kind of fucking weird too. Like there seems to be a lot fucking more of this.
Yeah.
Like even stories of teachers sleeping with their students and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It seems like there's so many more instances of this stuff happening. Now, I don't know if it's just social media and the availability of me finding out about these stories or if it is some like fucking weird disconnect that's happening with people.
Well, I think it's, I think in the case of teachers, it's the same sort of thing. It's always been happening. It's just we know about it now.
Now we're hearing
because
about it, right?
You think about, especially with the boys to female teachers, like that was like growing up. You would have been a fucking rock star.
Oh, that was the fantasy. That was
right. Hot for teacher.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna lie. Like there was this teacher I had in high school, and I was actively trying to sleep with her because I could kind of tell that she was interested. At the time, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Now, looking back, if that would have happened, like, holy fucking fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
because there's some boys, like, let me tell you, there's some boys that are, like, super handsome.
Yep.
And you're like, how is that boy 16 or 15? Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
That was it. Like, I was 17 going on 18. I think she was 23, 24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like the age gap's that bad. Now, it's still a fucking statutory rape, and you're still fucking,
in a power position,
Exactly. Like, none of it is right. And even me saying, like, the ages or whatever, it sounds like, I'm making excuses for it. Yeah. But it's just, it's the truth. But
you've had girls sleeping with their college professors, 18 sleeping with men, and I'm sure we've had cases where, male teachers were sleeping with young girls. all
Oh, yeah.
throughout history, you know,
Yeah.
whenever they had access to girls. It's just, you know, pedophiles get involved in sports, they get involved in scouts, they
Yeah.
get involved in priesthood because they get access to children and victims that
See,
way.
I've kind of wondered that though. Like, is it that they get involved with that knowing that they, you know what I mean, that they're pedophiles, or not maybe not knowing, or just understanding that gets them closer to, you know, their intended targets?
Sure. If it's
Or
like
do
a
they
thought out
start
process.
to develop these
Oh,
feelings
as they're
going
around
forward?
the kids.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
something
I
I've
see what you're saying.
always
Like
wondered.
maybe they never thought about it, and now suddenly they're coaching Timmy's little league, and
Right,
you know,
and they
something about Timmy suddenly triggers something.
right, like, I mean, again, like, I don't fucking know because I don't find kids sexually appeasing.
Yeah.
So, like, I have no idea about the fucking psyche of a pedophile, but
Yeah.
I have wondered that. Like,
Yeah.
is it like,
It'd be a good question to ask somebody if you ever had a pedophile, you know, interview.
Yeah. But like the whole priest thing, right? Like, you can't fucking tell me, like, it just doesn't make sense to me that pedophiles would just flock to becoming a priest because, you know, they get to be left alone with fucking vulnerable kids. That just doesn't compute to me.
Now, do you think with the priesthood, so you're talking about people, maybe they really did join in a sense of, you know, they heard a calling, or maybe
Yeah.
they were just kind of a little bit oddballs that never wanted to date a girl. Maybe they were gay and they didn't know they were gay, or they couldn't admit they were gay. And then once they get around kids, because there's no other, you know, the men are not, they can't say they're gay, or the priests are going to put them out, right? So now the only other males they're around besides other priests are children. They take that opportunity.
That's kind of the way I honestly do view it. It's not about them actually being attracted to children or just going in with that preconceived kind of notion. It's
just
more, it's opportunity, and it's a way to display and abuse their power.
Now, do you think in some cases, now obviously it wouldn't be for all because some people are just monsters, do you think allowing priests to marry, whether it be, obviously they'll never let them marry, you know, the same sex, but marrying opposite sex like the Church of England does, right?
It makes absolutely zero sense to me at all that they can't get married. Like, that's
I mean, but kids always get abused in every religion, right? But you don't hear about the amount of cover-up and abuse in, like I said, the Church of England, Anglican, other religions where ministers and preachers can get married. You don't hear about to the extent of the Catholic Church.
No. And again, I like this has been going on with the Catholic Church for hundreds of fucking years.
Thousands.
Like, it's ridiculous how long they've been abusing this power with, you know, vulnerable fucking people.
Yeah.
But I do kind of think that, because I mean, like, human beings we're sexual by nature. We need it. You know what I mean? Just like every other animal needs it.
Yeah. It's a drive to reproduce.
Exactly, right?
And then for whatever reason, you know, evolution made it feel good.
Yeah. But, you know, to stop that, to show your covenant for God, which again doesn't make fucking sense to me, because if the entire preface of your fucking religion is that we are flawed from the get-go, then these flawed fucking people can't take something that serious into their own fucking hands.
Yeah.
You know they're going to fuck it up. You know they're going to abuse it.
Yeah.
And when they do it, it's not just like, oh, you know, just something innocuous. You know what I mean? No, you've literally just made a victim out of someone and have potentially ruined their entire fucking lives. You know what I mean? All because of what? Because they have to make some bullshit covenant with some fake fucking wizard? Like, fuck off. Like, it doesn't, no, that doesn't make sense. Just let them fucking marry.
Well, and from what I understand, when the, you know, Christianity started and these ministers, or I don't even know what they would have called them back then, if they still would have been priests, there wasn't a, you know, chastity element to being a follower of Jesus.
Yeah. No, I have no idea when this started, when the whole, like, you have to make this covenant with God bullshit started, but I definitely feel like a lot of these issues could be solved if you just got rid of those archaic kind of fucking rules.
Yeah, then you could, you know, when somebody does exploit a child, right, whether it be female or male, if somebody exploits a child, then you can say, you know, out. This has nothing to do with religion. You're a sicko. Get out.
Yep.
And, you know, prosecute them and banish them from your religion.
It's just funny to me, like, how much, you know, these Catholics go off about, oh, no, this religion will enrich your life. Well, yeah, because you seem really good on fucking destroying some.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's frustrating as hell. And again, it's great. It's great being alive now and seeing and hearing them actually being called out for it. You know, people have had enough, which is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Listening to them cry about, you know, their membership going down and stuff like that because of it is also very
well. And this is why they got to go to like third world places where people are uneducated and don't realize. When people are turning their backs en masse to religion, not just Christian, not just Catholicism, religion. The fastest growing, and I don't want to call it a religion, the fastest growing group is nothing. Not even atheist. No. Nothing.
No. More people like me. They're like, again, like I said a few times before, I'm closer to what would be known as an anti-theist than I am an atheist.
Yeah.
Right? Because an atheist, there's still a little bit of theology there that I still met. You know what I mean? Like I'm still
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's the truth. Like people are turning their backs to this stuff. Not only the glaring holes in the logic behind it, but the lies, the deceit, the fucking flat out just abusing your fucking power.
Not just the money, but of the people. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating.
It is, and it kills me. You know, it's like I don't ever want to tell someone they're wrong for believing because, I mean, look, your opinion's your opinion, your belief, your faith, whatever. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like want to shake. Like the minute somebody says, "Oh, my faith does this," and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
You know? Like when athletes stand up and say, "Oh, you know, God let us win this game," so God liked your team more than He liked the other team,
right? Right.
You know? Why did God let convicted murderers on frickin' Baltimore Ravens win? You know,
well, I seen it today. It was on a Reddit post. It was a guy who murdered a fucking prostitute, and he's talking to Jesus like, "Hey man, thanks for this whole fucking, you know, forgive my sins thing because I just, you know, brutally chopped up this woman and left her in a fucking truck stop bathroom." And Jesus is like, "And isn't it great that you're here and she's rotting in hell because she's a prostitute?"
Yeah.
And like, if you can fucking look at that and not just get enraged by the bullshit that you believe, then like there's something fucking wrong.
That. Like, I don't have a problem. Like, I mean, my husband believes in God. That's fine if you want to believe in God. Organized religion is bullshit.
It is.
You know, and like for anybody, you know, this is what I was saying. I was driving home my daughter and some friends, and we were talking about stuff. And I'm like, well, you know, you got to remember, if you're born Catholic, you've got the loophole.
Yep.
And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, at the moment of your death, if you know, or even after, before you go in front of Jesus, all you have to do is say, I accept the Lord Jesus and God into my heart, and you get to go to heaven.
You get to go to heaven.
No matter if you're fucking Hitler or you're fucking Saddam Hussein or you're Stalin, you take the Lord Jesus into your heart with that fucking loophole, and you get to go to heaven.
But remember, you have to fucking accept him in the heart. What is it? You have to accept Jesus so he will forgive you for the sin that he created you to have.
Yeah.
It's just a whole bunch of bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah. But, you know, only the Catholics would, you know, give themselves that loophole.
Of course.
You know, like, it's so ridiculous. At least with, like, these real kind of, like, Christy fundamentals, you know, like the real hardcore Baptists. Like, they believe that shit. You know, and they're fucking praying and fucking
speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
Kissing snakes and shit. Like, fucking whack jobs. Like, I mean, like, again, there'll never be an argument made to me that'll ever fucking get me to see the fucking light. Like, never.
Yeah.
I've heard them all.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's not fucking happening.
I used to believe in God, and I came to my own conclusions when I was like 16. Like, no, this is not real. And, you know, like I said, I'll never take someone's religion away from them. I would never do that to them. I never did that to my kids. My kids came to their own conclusions, and not from me saying there's no God. I never said to my kids there's no God.
Yeah.
If they asked me a question about God, I answered as best as I could from what I remembered in the day, you know. But I never said Mommy doesn't believe in God.
See, I say it like this: like, have all the faith you want. I don't give a fuck. You having faith in the bigger picture does nothing against me and or my life.
Exactly.
Have all the fucking faith you want. Ditch your fucking religion, because your religion is nothing but a cancer onto this fucking world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Organized religion is the worst thing that happened.
And I feel like a lot of people get kind of caught up on that. They still can't make that disconnect from faith and religion. Yeah. Religion isn't faith. Like, you don't, like, I could be part of any religion right now with having zero fucking faith in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, having zero faith that there's something bigger out there. But I could just believe your shit. Like, I just fucking say the words. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what it boils down to.
Going through the motions, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
'em all.
No, I agree.
Like, just fuck them all.
Yeah. Let's quickly talk about this story before we end. That was a good chat. We went all over the place. I like that. I think you'll like this kid. I think this kid is kind of cool. So we got a Florida student. He's 11 years old, and he was arrested at his school in Lakeland, Florida. So it's Florida. Because he had a substitute teacher who was mad at him because he refused to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, this kid hasn't been saying the Pledge of Allegiance for quite a while. His regular teacher had no problem with it, but the substitute teacher was very angry with him and had him arrested.
Arrested?
Arrested.
You can get arrested for that?
At this school, apparently you can. I mean, you're talking about Florida, right?
That's not cool. That's not right at all. I thought Americans were free. No, seriously. You know, so a couple of years back, a couple friends of ours were going to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs game. And the one girl, she was wearing a baseball cap, and she said, well, I don't want to take my hat off during the national anthem because it'll fuck my hair up. And I spent, a long time fixing my hair. And I looked at her dead as I fucking could, and I said, who the fuck cares about a hat? And she's like, well, it's respect. I'm like, the thing is, you're free. This is a free fucking nation. You can whip your you can take your pants down and take a shit every single time O Canada's played because you are a free fucking person and that's your fucking right. Now, me personally, I might be a little mad at you for not standing, not removing your hat, not showing your respect. But you are a free fucking person to do so.
I don't really have a problem with people leaving their hats on through O Canada. I think if you can stand, you should stand. And I think you should sing if you can, physically make noise.
If you want to. If you fucking want to.
But there's no law. I would never yell at a person and be like, you're a dirtbag, you're a lowlife. You think about people would go to church, and women always wear hats in church.
Yeah.
So if a woman can wear a hat under the Lord, why can't you wear a hat at a hockey game to sing a song to your country?
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. That's not the way I would conduct myself. But like I said, I would never hurl words of hatred or demand someone's arrest.
If we live in a free fucking nation, like we're supposed to, or especially in the States, because that's what you keep hammering down my fucking my throat. Oh, we're free, we're free, we're free. Well, are you though? Are you that if I don't stand up and recite some shit fucking poem, I deserve to go to jail? Fuck you.
He told the teacher he didn't stand because he believed the pledge represented racism.
Okay.
And she called the school resource officer, and the officer arrested him, and he was charged with a misdemeanor. I don't know what the exact charge was. I'm trying to find it here in this article. I read this so long ago. This is an older case too. But they were dropped. The charges were dropped.
Yeah.
But they said they were only dropping if he completed a so-called diversion program.
Diversion from what?
I guess from like wanting to have free speech and
from
free
what,
expression.
being woke, from fucking exercising his fucking First Amendment right. Like, this is the thing that fucking irks me the most about Americans is it's rights for thee but not for me. You know what I mean? And like, you get a lot of conservatives that'll say that, like, oh well, they just want transgendered rights for themselves and nothing, and it doesn't affect us. Well, you're the same fucking people, because you're the same people that get all up in your fucking feelings because someone doesn't want to stand during your shitty fucking poem. Fuck your poem. Fuck it. Fuck your fake nationalism. Fuck your bullshit patriotism. You guys are fucking retarded. Like, it makes no fucking sense whatsoever to get so up your own asshole.
The boy has been refusing to stand for the entire year. So this isn't just something his parents have forced on him. I mean, for a whole year, the kid is committing to it. It's obviously something he believes in too.
But even at that point though, is it, and I can kind of understand that. Like, is this something that this kid has consciously decided to do himself, or did his parents kind of coerce him into not doing it, but thinking this way, right? Yeah. But even if that's the fucking case, he's a free person in a free fucking nation. You don't have to stand for anything. I even got mad with the whole Kaepernick thing. Now, I said my piece about it, like, how personally for me, I didn't like his fucking protesting at the games because I use sports to get away from the bullshit of the world. Mm-hmm. But at the same point in time, that's his fucking platform. Use your fucking platform, buddy. You know what I mean? You can't get mad over it.
Yeah, it's not something I would do because I love my national anthem. And I mean, I get why he thinks that it's racist.
Oh, yeah.
But I personally wouldn't do it there either. But I would never be like, oh, arrest Colin Kaepernick because he's a traitor to his country and he doesn't respect the flag or the troops.
Yeah, the fucking troop argument is the stupidest fucking thing. Like, you're literally bringing up the people that went and fought and died for your right to do whatever the fuck you want.
But you got to hear the answer to this kid. This kid is sassy, so I can see why the teacher phoned the police on him. Because she says, if it's so bad, this is according to the statement by the teacher, by the way. Why is it so bad here? Why, if it was so bad here, did he not go to another place to live? And the boy responded, he also happens to be black, responded with, they brought me here. And she said, well, you can always go back because I came here from Cuba, and the day I feel I'm not welcome here anymore, I'll find another place to live.
See, and that's another hard one to unpack because, and you see it a lot in the States, maybe not so much here in Canada, but you do see it here in Canada. You get a lot of immigrants that really, really bite the patriotism bullet. Yeah. Like, they really go hard on it. Now, that's cool. That's great. You know, nothing warms my heart more than going down to the fucking lake during our Canada Day celebrations and seeing first generation Canadians just fucking living their best fucking life. I love that. Like, I absolutely fucking love that. You know, but it's still like, bitch, you don't get that right. You don't get the right to tell this kid he has to stand, sing, fucking do anything. Exactly. Like, nothing. He is a free person in a free fucking nation. Yeah. Regardless of whatever woke bullshit the kid's fucking spewing, it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter.
He gets to, and that's the thing. He's 11 years old. He knows his mind, and he doesn't want to be or his parents don't want him indoctrinated into that. They're doing their own indoctrination.
Yeah, exactly. Which, again, like, I still think
we all do it. We all do
absolutely.
It. That's the problem. You know, like, as much as I'm like saying I'm not forcing my kid into a religion, I'm indoctrinating into something else. Who the fuck knows? I'm doing something.
Right. Do you think I would be the argumentative asshole I am if my father wasn't such an argumentative asshole? Do you know what I mean?
Like, genetic, though. You know?
Yeah, possibly.
Some of it could be genetic.
But no, I these stories have always bothered me. Now, when I was in, when would this been? This would have been, I was a grade 5, maybe grade 6, and we had a family from Turkey move into our school district.
Yeah.
This was the first time most kids in my school here ever would have like met a Muslim person.
Yeah.
Right now, this girl,
the girls wearing hijab.
Yeah. Now, nobody cared about that. That wasn't a thing. Like, we all asked because, again, not a lot of us had experience with it. Not a lot of us have seen it. So there was questions asked. She was very fucking welcoming with the answers and stuff. You know, everything was great until she refused to stand for the national anthem. Now, I'll even admit that, you know, my fucking 12-year-old fucking patriotic adult mind, I was mad. I was like, what the fuck is this? You don't like it? Go fucking home.
Yeah.
But then she kind of explained, well, we came here because it's a free country. And in a free country, I don't have to. And I was like, you know what? I fucking respect that. Because that's how I live my life. You can't tell me shit. You can't tell me a fucking thing. Like, if I want to tell you the sky's fucking yellow and it's literally blue, fuck you.
Exactly.
Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you. And I'm awarded that luxury here.
Yeah.
So good on this kid. Like, good on this little fucker. You know, again, I don't care for your woke bullshit, but like, cool. Congratulations, buddy. Like, you know what I mean?
I always kind of appreciate a kid that kind of, you know, dead ass drops a fucking good reply to an 100%. Authority figure like that. You know, like,
fucking %.
You know, you brought me here.
Yeah. Yeah, like somewhere down the line, some that look like you brought some that look like me here, and now this fucking situation's happening. Fuck you.
Yeah. So anyway, we won't be on again this week. I'm working the rest of the week other than tomorrow, and I don't think we're going to do back-to-back shows. So thanks for listening. We'll be back on Monday, I hope, and have a good week.
Take care.
Bye.